Hey everyone, welcome to day 19. Today we're going to be talking about vendor events. So to get started, like why would you do a vendor event? What are they valuable for? I have included a workbook, two workbooks in the printables underneath the description of this video. There is being a market vendor as well as being a market organizer. I recommend you read the vendor one first, especially if you have never done them before. It's important to start there. So in addition to like getting to know other vendors, which is a really great way to network, you're also going to be able to meet new customers that you otherwise would not probably have been able to meet. And usually when people come to vendor events, they are coming specifically to shop. So I put together this little workbook for you to go through. It helps you to figure out where you're going to find these events. Is it an event that makes the most sense for you to be there as a Scentsy consultant? Who's the target audience? Who are the people going to be bringing in? How much does it cost? You have to take into consideration all of these things, especially as you're building your brand. If you're brand new, you're going to have to get out there and you're going to hit the pavement and you're going to have to let people know who you are, that you sell Scentsy. They typically will need to see you a number of times before they will buy from you. So you cannot give up on doing vendor events after the first one because people don't know you. So they don't know, like, and trust you yet. They have to start seeing you at a number of events before they'll start to buy from you. So when I first started doing Scentsy almost 12 years ago, I was doing a lot of like church basements and little markets that were around the $20 range. I know that was a long time ago. Now it's really hard to find those $20 markets. But you want to find something that is appropriate in the size for the inventory that you might have. I don't recommend that you have any inventory unless you are doing market events, in which case you're obviously going to be using a lot of host and half off items, perpetual rewards, in order to get your product so that you know exactly how much you are spending on your product. Remember, if there is an event and it cost you $100 and you sell $120, so you sell 3 6-packs here in Canada, a lot of people will think, oh, I've made my money back. No, you did not make your money back. If you are an essential consultant and you sold 3 6-packs at 20% commission, you've made $24. Okay, so don't confuse how much you have sold with how much you have made. You have to know what your commission base is. You have to know what your income is. Don't forget that you also need to take into account your gas, your time. Remember, we talked about your time value, so you have to incorporate that as well. Your gas to get there, like how, and your time, don't forget, it starts from when you are packing your car, not from when the event starts. Okay, so these are all things that I want you to start to consider if you are doing events, but it is a great way to start building a customer base. It's getting people to recognize Scentsy, recognize you as a Scentsy person. My biggest kind of thing I think that people do by mistake is that they don't show up often enough for people to get to know that they are the Scentsy person for that event. So you might go to your first event and you don't have very high sales. That does not mean that that event was not successful. You're building customers. You saw I had my catalog request form. I have those on my table so that people are filling that out and you can do it for a little door prize. Oftentimes I will do it for the door prize could be for either it's a product that they don't have to buy more of in order to use. So that's icky. Remember, we don't want to give them something like, you don't want to say, oh, here you get a free bar of wax, and then they have to buy a warmer to use it. That's a little bit icky. But if you used a hand soap or a hand cream, something that people can actually use and will appreciate, then it comes off as being generous. You're coming from a place of service and not a place of scarcity. We talked about that the other day. So you want to be able to do something like that. I often will do that. If they win, they will get a $20 product credit that they can use with me. So some people will never use it, and so it's cost me nothing. And people who do use it typically will spend more because they want to apply that against something bigger than what they maybe originally had in mind. So those are things to consider. So doing vendor events is a really great way to build your customer base. You want to for sure get their contact information, first and last name, email, minimum. Okay. Ideally, you're going to get their cell phone number as well. And really awesome if you could also get their full mailing address. When you get home, you want to make sure you put all of that information in the workstation. Okay. Because then if they go to Scentsy.com, it'll refer them back to you as being someone they purchased from in the past. So really, really important that you actually gather information. If you just go and you just do a one-time sale and that's the end of that transaction, you're really not getting ahead with your Scentsy business at all. You're getting a one-time sale, and that's not what we are in this for. We're in this to actually build a business. So a one-time sale is really not beneficial. It is in the sense that you sold something, but not in the sense of that you've built business. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail because I have everything included in the workbooks that I have created. You will notice that those are written by another company that I manage, but just Scentsify it. Okay, like I didn't want to go to the trouble of redoing it all when it's already right there, and it's really, really valuable content already. So be sure to print them off. If you ever thought about doing a market, then you want to also print off the vendor market workbook. The event organizer workbook. But otherwise, just print off the vendor one, and you'll see there that there's worksheets that you can make copies of or whatever. So if you do book events, you want to make sure that you are at the end of it going through your profit and loss, right? So you're going to go through that and see what value came from the event. And if it's something you're going to book again next year. Again, I do recommend that you get out there and get your name known, do the little events, do the church basements, that kind of thing, whatever you can. But yeah, that's what I recommend that you do. Don't give up before you've given it a try. It's always a fun idea to get together with another Scentsy consultant and split it with them. So you could do, if it's a 2-day event, you can do one day and they can do the other day, or you can work them together if that's something that you're interested in. Certainly, if you have team members under you, you want to be able to teach them. This is really the whole theme of this this program. Teach people what you know. So when you know it, then you teach it, right? And so down it goes. So I used to do events almost every weekend. I now do basically 2 events for the year, but I'm really cutting it back to just doing the 1 event a year, and I'm letting my team members get the experience from doing the other the events that I was doing previously. So just something to consider, something to think about, a great way to get your name out there. Don't spend a ton of money, especially if you have not gone out there and done events before. My biggest recommendation for you is to take your starter kit and put it on the table. You can collect orders. You don't have to do cash and carry. You can collect orders, and that's actually better because you're going to build better customer relationship. And it also shows them what they get if they sign up. And hopefully by day 19, you've realized that I've talked about building your business and your team to be deep and wide. And a really great way to do that is when you're at an event and you show them the starter kit and they want everything they see, they can sign up, and they also can see that they don't have to buy inventory in order to do events. So especially a summer event, where I am, it gets on average around 33 degrees Celsius. So it's too hot for me to take wax anyways. So I just take my starter kit. I take an empty clamshell to represent the bar that comes in their kit, and I have recruited that way. And then other people, they're more inclined to want to try an event because they're like, oh, I don't have to buy thousands and thousands of dollars of product that I may or may not sell. So I do want to say that I am not the #1 event person by any stretch of the imagination. You can find out a lot about events from other leaders in the organization. But if you print off that workbook and you work your way through it, I think you'll find that it's really valuable content. And I created that specifically for you so that you can make a decision about whether or not you want to try out events. I will see you in tomorrow's video. Ciao.